What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Zarenix from the Wrestle Plug. Time to review AEW Dynamite. Quickfire. Cody Rhodes comes storming in his 4x4 to take on Lance Archer and to try and send a message after what happened to his wife last week. I like the fact that it took him 7 days to defend the honour of his wife. Couldn't be asked to find Lance Archer last week. I'll do it this week. Fair enough. Not a problem. Nice little segment, like it. Builds nicely. Double or Nothing is just a week and a half away. I'm excited about this pay-per-view. There were more things to be discussed about this pay-per-view coming into tonight. And obviously, one of the biggest matches on that card is Lance Archer versus Cody Rhodes for the TNT Championship to crown the inaugural champion. It should be a very, very exciting match, to be honest, and an exciting card in general. Double or Nothing looking very strong as we speak. Speaking of which, the tag team division has kicked back into gear. Hangman Page hasn't been around. I don't know why that is. Pandemic reasons, obviously, I'm sure. But in his absence, Matt Hardy has made an admirable tag partner for Kenny Omega. However, Best Friends versus Jurassic Express. Good match. Once again, the Best Friends killing it out there. I think that Trent is really coming through as one of AEW's best all-round performers. You can just tell this is a guy who's been through every system, whether that be WWE, New Japan, and now AEW, not to mention the independent wrestling scene. He's trained well, he works well, he tells a story beautifully, and with Chuck Taylor, they actually make up one of the best tag teams on the roster right now. Good match. Best Friends get the win, despite the fact that Ray Phoenix assaulted Orange Cassidy. We're getting that next week on AEW Dynamite. Whoopee. I love Ray Phoenix, but come on, man. I want to see him wrestling better people than Orange Cassidy. If Orange Cassidy obviously goes full-blown, then him and Ray Phoenix could tear the house down, but it's one of those things, eh? No, it's not working for me. But MJF getting involved, of course, because he's got a match with Jungle Boy at Double or Nothing, so he attacks him, costs him the match. Good match, competitive, shows off some tag team wrestling, which is very nice because that's something that's been severely lacking lately, if I'm being honest. Speaking of tag team matches as well, we got Proud and Powerful's return. It seems like forever since we've seen the boys, formerly LAX in TNA, taking on Matt Hardy, Kenny Omega, taking a loss as well. A little bit disappointing to see Proud and Powerful take a loss when they haven't been around for so long, but at the same time, how many times can Matt Hardy lose? I know he technically lost his debut last week in that phenomenal street fight, so this was kind of like the 50-50 booking scenario where they give him a win back. But this match was really cool, very competitive. Sammy Guevara hobbling down to the ring with a chair looking like trash. Love that shit. Absolutely love that. And Sammy Guevara was just, well, he's on fire. And he's genuinely, I think, my favourite wrestler of this brand, at least from a personal taste, just because of how hilarious he is, but also his in-ring qualities are absolutely undeniable. So yeah, Proud and Powerful taking the loss, but it's fine. Great match, as you would expect. Kenny Omega killing it out there. Covered the wrestling portion of the match so well. And of course, Matt Hardy offers more than just wrestling. He offers this entertainment value. And I think Matt Hardy's very important to the growth of guys like Kenny Omega, who aren't necessarily the sports entertainers of the world. And I'm not saying that AEW should be like WWE, but you can't go wrong when you've got guys like Matt Hardy, Chris Jericho, Jon Moxley, Pac when he's back. More of those kind of guys, the guys who understand the entertainment and the wrestling, because ultimately you need to have both. You really do. Good tag match. Loved it. Women's division starting to pick up steam as well. Fatal 4-way. Thought that was excellent. Hikaru Shida getting the win. Not really a massive surprise there as they are building her. And of course they announced tonight Hikaru Shida taking on Nyla Rose for the Women's Championship at Double or Nothing, May the 23rd. Very excited to see how that pans out because Hikaru Shida has been quite literally on fire. The most dominant number one contender I think I've seen since this brand got going back in October, and she's going to have a chance to prove that. Match itself was a little sloppy for me in places. I love Penelope Ford. I think she's very exciting. Britt Baker, I've never been Britt Baker's biggest fan. I think her character work has been phenomenal, but I still think in ring she's well, the best one in the world, very far behind the other women. as far as I'm concerned, and that shows. But they were building, obviously, some sort of rivalry here inbuilt, because while she's got Chris Statlander in the jaw lock on the outside, Hikaru Shida takes full opportunity of that and pins Penelope Ford. Penelope Ford, I gotta say, looking good though, not just a pretty face, somebody who's very capable in the ring, very athletic, and I think I like her dynamic. I like the fact that there's a kind of lovey-dovey sort of dynamic with Kip Sabian. I like that kind of obnoxious lovers angle. It works. It always works. It's always worked in wrestling since the dawn of time. You name them and they've done it. And I think the obnoxious couple is something that can really be played on more. I'd like to see more character development from guys like that. But nonetheless, it is Hikaru Shida who will be moving on to Double or Nothing. And she got the wrong end of the stick, quite literally, afterwards, because during her promo with Lexi backstage, Nyla Rose comes up to her and says, "Oh, no troubles." Very obvious that she was hiding something behind her back. And she says, "I just wanted to wish you a congratulations and also let you know that I found something of yours." And boom, nails her right across the head with a kendo stick and says, "I found your kendo stick, bitch." I fucking popped, because whether you like Nyla Rose or not, she is the best mic worker they have in the women's division now. I'm sorry, I don't think it's even close. And she's one of the very few people who's an actual character. The women's division has been booked so fucking poorly. And I know that some people want to bury their heads in the sand and go, "Oh, no, it's fine, it's great. No, it's absolutely fine." Of course it's not fucking fine. It's been terribly booked up until now. And Nyla Rose has been carrying this division for some time, particularly with her fantastic verbal antics. And this is just another example of that. Loved it. Thought it was hysterically good fun, as was Chris Jericho versus Pineapple Pete. Yeah, I've seen a few people on social media whinging. Boo-hoo, cry me a fucking river. I love Sugar Duncton, by the way. Sugar Duncton, by the way, of Leeds, England. I've seen Sugar Duncton many times over here. I've met him quite a few times. I've spoken to the guy quite a lot. And it's very cool to know that a guy that I've seen in front of 50, 60 people over here wrestling Chris Jericho on Dynamite. And I've seen people on social media saying, "Oh, he fucking squashed him. This does nothing for Pineapple Pete / Suge D." And I'm thinking, well, it kind of does. Because what's a bigger deal here? Him wrestling in front of 600 or 700 people at Progress or something in a throwaway match that most people won't even see, or wrestling arguably the greatest wrestler of all time. And yeah, he may have jobbed out ridiculously quickly, but he was in the ring with Chris Jericho. His stock has just been elevated massively. And also Jericho wearing his t-shirt. Yeah, of course, storyline wise, it was a bit of a piss take, but it was phenomenal. I loved it. Absolutely loved it. I thought it was really good fun. Pineapple Pete gets a bit of fire. Boom, Judas effect, sit down. It sends a great statement from both men. Pineapple Pete has the opportunity, even though he's run over pretty quick. And of course, Chris Jericho stays very strong. I think this is how you do a squash match. And I'm so sick of seeing whingy fucking smarks and whingy marks as well on Twitter, on social media, crying, "Oh, I'm so sick and tired of seeing so many people get jobbed out." Just... what are you talking about? Not everybody needs to be a star. Not everybody needs to have a pay-per-view level match. It infuriates me absolutely no end. It's ridiculous. But I enjoyed it. Thought it was really, really good fun. And looking forward to what this is going to play out with further forward. Because you've got to think, at least Pineapple Pete being on set so much, he's going to have more matches going forward. And obviously Chris Jericho sends this statement, but can we have a moment of silence? Okay, that's enough. Vanguard 1 has finally left us after 4 or 5 years of absolute wonder and absolute joy. Sadly, his life was taken tonight as Chris Jericho ended him with his friend Floyd. Floyd took out Vanguard 1. It was a sad moment for us all. With the aluminum baseball bat as Jericho smashed into pieces, and then Matt Hardy crawls in the ring and he's like, "Vanguard, my fallen brother." It's kind of heartbreaking, if I'm being honest. It was a little bit soul destroying. Also, Sammy Guevara just being a shitbag, by the way, on the mic just before that was fucking amazing. He's just like, oh yeah, we're super honourable. He says, say that in Spanish, and he goes, El honourable. I fucking love it. Thought it was hilarious, great fun. Wonderful segment, really, really loved it. And of course, the Stadium Stampede match is announced, and the Elite have accepted. So we will finally get the Elite versus the Inner Circle, this time at Double or Nothing. Obviously, the pandemic kind of threw a real spanner in the works when it came to their War Games-esque match, Blood and Guts match, as I think they were calling it. So this time around, we're going to get a Stadium Stampede, and what I'm thinking is they're going to challenge WWE's perception of these matches with their own, because obviously WWE has been on fire lately with these cinematic, pre-recorded style matches, and they're going to have their own style to compete with this, and I'm really excited to see what they can do with it. Very excited to watch this match in general, because it's just going to be loaded with talent and amazing spots. I'm super excited, I can't lie. I'm really, really looking forward to that. I think it's going to be absolutely awesome. I was a little bit disappointed, I'm not going to lie, to see Brody Lee versus Christopher Daniels in the main event, and I love both these guys, and Christopher Daniels is one of my biggest heroes, but I was watching this. The match was fine. I didn't like the ridiculous amount of false finishes. I think they were ridiculously over the top with that. Christopher Daniels seemed to hit every finisher. Now, I get the story they were trying to tell, that Brody Lee couldn't be kept down. Brody Lee comes down with the belt as well. Jon Moxley, obviously, coming back to get his property. That angle's been done to death as well. The whole, oh, I've stolen your belt and I'm the real champion. It's just that I haven't won the match yet. Bit meh. Match was fine, but nothing to write home about for me. The last 5 minutes were quite good. It was quite cool seeing, obviously, Colt Cabana get involved as well. Colt obviously is going to be involved in that ladder match, that Money in the Bank style ladder match that's going to be at Double or Nothing as well. And yeah, I mean, the ending was a bit of a clusterfuck. Brody Lee gets the win, and then of course Moxley comes down to retrieve his belt and then just decks a load of goons, and Brody Lee leaves. Dude, like the fact that he just kind of grabbed one of them and went, you just get in there, you little bastard, you take a beating on my behalf. Good stuff. Really throwing out that sacrificial lamb, so to speak, and I like that. But yeah, show goes off the air with Moxley obviously spitting fire on the mic. I thought it was a good Dynamite, didn't think it was nearly as good as last week though. Really enjoyed last week a lot more. I think this was good though for building storylines and structure and stuff like that, and because of that reason alone I really enjoyed it, and it's always worth tuning in every week, it really is, and I'm looking forward to seeing what NXT can do in response to that, and that's something that obviously I'll be watching a little bit later on today. So I hope you've enjoyed this, guys. Very quick fire. Wanted to get this up as soon as possible so you guys can enjoy our thoughts on AEW Dynamite. Just want to say thank you to everybody for their support during very difficult times. It's obviously been very difficult on our end. As you know, being independent artists, not really earning any money whatsoever at the moment, has been incredibly difficult for us. Just trying to make ends meet. So obviously I've just been saying to people, if you do have any loose change around, please check out wrestleplug.bigcartel.com. Where you can buy a wonderful t-shirt, because I would like to think that if you are going to donate some of your hard-earned cash, you get something very nice in return for it, and I do believe that our t-shirts are very nice, to be honest, and very much worth the purchase, and they ship worldwide. But from myself, Aaron X, that's enough from the WrestlePlug for now. We'll be back very soon with more content. We've got a couple of very special interviews dropping over the next couple of days, and the State of Wrestling address is being recorded later today, and that, of course, will be available across all social media platforms and wherever you get your podcasts, including YouTube. Thank you very much for listening, guys, and I'll catch you very soon for more content from the WrestlePlug.